tonight we count our way to sleep again, with 150 more small wonders from the world of Pokémon. Gentle facts, told one after another, soft and slow, like quiet lights drifting past in the dark. There is no hurry in any of this. You do not need to remember a single one of them. You do not need to follow along, or keep count, or hold on to anything at all. If you fall asleep long before the last, that is exactly what tonight is for. This is a second gathering of wonders, and you do not need the first to enjoy it. Either night stands on its own, and either one is a fine place to drift away. And if you like drifting off this way, you can quietly subscribe, so the next long night of gentle facts finds its way to you when it is ready. That is all I will ask, and then I will not ask again. So settle in now. Find the most comfortable stillness you can. Let your eyes close if they want to. Let your breathing slow, and let us begin, gently, to count. 1. We begin with Chikorita, a small, gentle grass Pokémon with a single leaf on its head. That leaf is more than a decoration. A Chikorita waves it softly, and as it does, it releases a faint, sweet fragrance into the air around it. The scent is said to be calming, soothing to those nearby, and it grows stronger when the Chikorita is content and at ease. On a warm day, a Chikorita will lift its leaf toward the sun and let the gentle smell drift out across a whole meadow, so that the air where it rests always carries a soft sweetness. It is a shy, mild-mannered creature that would rather make peace than trouble. A little green Chikorita, quietly perfuming the air with calm, dozing in a patch of sunlight, is a soft and gentle way to begin our night. 2. Cyndaquil is a small fire Pokémon, timid and shy, with a back that can burst into flame. Most of the time though, that flame is kept low, barely there, a soft flicker along its spine. A Cyndaquil only flares up brightly when it is startled or roused to defend itself, and it would much rather not. The rest of the time it keeps its fire gentle and small, dozing quietly. Its flames a low warm glow, like the last embers of a hearth. It is a naturally nervous little creature, and when it feels safe, it relaxes completely, its fire settling to almost nothing. A Cyndaquil curled up asleep in a warm nook, its back flames burning low and soft, breathing slowly in the dark, is a cozy and deeply peaceful sight to settle into. 3. Totodile is a small blue water Pokémon with a big, cheerful mouth full of teeth. It is playful and full of energy, and it loves to chomp gently on things, not out of anger, but simply because it enjoys the feeling of it. A Totodile means no harm by this at all. It is a happy, splashing little creature that plays in the water from morning until night, and it grows genuinely fond of those who play with it. Its jaws are strong, but its heart is soft and easily won. A Totodile splashing merrily in a shallow stream, snapping playfully at falling leaves and its own reflection, tiring itself out with pure joy, is a bright and joyful image to picture as you settle in. 4. Sentret is a small, watchful creature that stands up tall on its long tail to see over the grass. In the wild, Sentret take turns keeping watch, and there is a real tenderness in how they do it. One will stand up high and scan the horizon, while the others forage and rest. And when it grows tired, another quietly takes its place, so that no one has to watch alone for too long. They look after one another this way, always keeping one pair of eyes on the world so the rest can be at ease. A Sentret never truly relaxes until it knows a friend is watching over it. A little group of Sentret taking turns to keep each other safe through the long night is a tender picture of gentle, patient teamwork. 5. Hoothoot is a small round owl Pokémon that has a remarkable sense of time. It is said that a Hoothoot begins to hoot at exactly the same moment each day, so precisely that people once used them, long ago, to keep track of the hours. Inside, the old accounts say, a Hoothoot has an almost perfect sense of rhythm, keeping time the way a well-made clock does. It stands on one leg, often tucking the other up beneath its feathers, and sways gently back and forth as it keeps its count. A Hoothoot softly calling out the hour at dusk standing on its single leg, keeping perfect time in the gathering dark, is a peaceful and reassuring sound to imagine drifting through the evening air. 6. Noctowl is the wise owl that Hoot Hoot becomes, and it is a creature of deep and patient thought. When a noctowl needs to think hard about something, the old accounts say, it turns its head fully upside down. This is said to help it concentrate, to see a problem from an entirely new angle, the way we might sleep on a worry and wake with the answer. A noctowl is calm, clever, and unhurried, gliding silently through the night on soft, muffled wings that make no sound at all. It watches the world with large, thoughtful, golden eyes that miss very little. A noctowl perched quietly in a moonlit tree, its head tilted, turning some gentle problem over in its patient mind, is a serene image of quiet nighttime wisdom. 7. Meryl we may know, but its cousin Azumarill has a lovely secret. Azumarill is a water Pokémon with excellent hearing, so fine that it can find things hidden in rushing, muddy water where nothing at all can be seen. But more than that, an Azumarill is said to be a rescuer. The old accounts tell that an Azumarill will dive without hesitation into rough water to help a struggling swimmer, using the buoyant, balloon-like pattern on its body to keep the drowning one afloat until they are safe. It does this for creatures and for people alike, asking nothing in return. A gentle blue Azumarill diving bravely into the waves to lift a frightened swimmer back to the surface is a warm and deeply reassuring thing to picture. 8. Togepi we may know, but its middle form Togetic is worth knowing too. Togetic is a small, kind, fairy-like creature that is said to appear before people who are truly good of heart. When it finds such a person, the old stories say, a Togetic will share happiness with them, sprinkling a kind of gentle joy dust that fills them with warmth and lightens their troubles. It seeks out the kind and the gentle wherever they are, and it rewards them simply for being so, expecting nothing at all. It is said that a Togetic grows unhappy in places without kindness, and so its very presence is a sign of a good and gentle heart nearby. A Togetic drifting quietly toward a good-hearted soul, ready to share its happiness, is a tender and hopeful image. 9. Mareep gathers static in its wool, but its cousin Flaffy handles electricity in a curious way. As a Flaffy stores more and more electricity in its body, the wool on its coat actually thins and recedes, because the smooth, bare, rubbery skin beneath is far better at holding a strong charge safely without letting it escape. So a Flaffy with patches of less wool is not unwell or unkempt at all. It is simply very well charged, brimming quietly with stored power. The pink skin that shows through glows faintly with the electricity it holds. A Flaffy dozing peacefully in a field at dusk, gently humming with all the charge it has gathered through the day, is a soft and slightly funny image of a very cozy, well-rested battery. 10. Bellsprout is a thin, plant-like Pokémon that sways on a slender, flexible stem. During the day, a Bellsprout turns to follow the sun, leaning this way and that all day long to catch as much light as it can. Its thin body is surprisingly quick and nimble, able to bend and whip about with startling speed when it needs to, though it rarely bothers. Mostly it simply stands rooted in the warm soil, swaying gently in the breeze, drinking in the sunlight and the quiet. A whole field of Bellsprout, all leaning the same way at once, following the sun together across the sky like a slow crowd of green dancers turning in unison, is a peaceful and quietly whimsical sight to hold in the mind. 11. Hoppip drifts on the wind, and so does its cousin Skiploom. But Skiploom carries a clever little trick. The flower on top of a Skiploom opens and closes depending on the temperature of the air around it. When it is warm and sunny, the flower spreads open wide to soak up every bit of light. When it grows cold or dark, the flower folds up tight to keep its warmth safe inside. In this quiet way, a Skiploom is a kind of living thermometer, and farmers, the old accounts say, could read the coming weather simply by watching a field of them. A meadow full of Skiploom, slowly opening their flowers together as the morning sun breaks through the clouds, is a gentle, cheerful sight to greet the day. 12. Sunken is one of the smallest and lightest of all Pokémon, and it has made a gentle art of doing as little as possible. It tries very hard not to move at all, because moving uses up energy, and a Sunken would much rather save every scrap of its strength. So it hangs quietly from stems and leaves, sipping morning dew and basking in the sunlight, staying as perfectly still as it can manage all day long. If something startles it, it simply drops straight to the ground and lies there. There is something wonderfully relatable in a creature so committed to rest. A Sunken doing its absolute best to do nothing whatsoever, dozing in the dew as the morning warms around it, is a restful little image to carry towards sleep. 13. Wooper is a small, cheerful water Pokémon that lives in cool ponds and gentle streams, and it has the most endearing daily habit. Rather than swimming, a Wooper prefers to walk slowly along the very bottom of the water, plodding across the stream bed as it searches for food. Quite content down there, in the cool and the quiet, when it comes up onto land, it coats its body in a thin, protective slime to keep from drying out in the sun. It is a simple, happy little creature with a permanent, gentle, slightly sleepy smile on its face. A Wooper plodding cheerfully along a pond floor, or resting in the warm shallows with its content little face just above the water, is a soothing and adorable sight. 14. Quagsire, the creature Wooper grows into, is famous throughout the Pokémon world for being extraordinarily, wonderfully relaxed. It is a laid-back Pokémon that swims through rivers with almost no effort at all, simply letting the current carry it wherever it happens to be going. It is so utterly easygoing that it will bump its head gently against rocks and the hulls of passing boats as it drifts, and simply carry on, entirely unbothered, without so much as a change in expression. Nothing in the world seems to trouble a Quagsire, or hurry it, or ruffle its calm. It lives its whole life at the gentlest possible pace. If ever there were a Pokémon that had truly learned not to sweat the small things, it is the marvelously mellow Quagsire. 15. Espeon we may know, but the way it senses the world around it is worth dwelling on. Espeon is said to be so exquisitely sensitive to the air that it can feel the very slightest shifts in the wind and the weather, changes far too small for us to notice. From these tiny signals, an Espeon can predict what the sky is about to do, sensing an approaching rain long before a single cloud has appeared on the horizon. The fine, soft fur that covers its body reads the world like 1,000 tiny antennae, all working quietly at once. It is loyal and devoted to those it loves, and calmest in their company. An Espeon basking in the last warm light of the day, quietly aware that a soft rain is coming tomorrow, is a lovely picture of gentle, watchful calm. 16. Slugma flows slowly along as living lava, but Magcargo, the creature it becomes, carries a true wonder within it. A Magcargo's body burns so incredibly hot, the old accounts say, that its outer shell is made of magma that has cooled and hardened into rock, while beneath that shell, the heat still burns hotter than most open flames. And yet, for all that fire, a Magcargo moves slowly and gently, never rushing, leaving a warm trail on the ground behind it wherever it goes. In cold northern places, people have long valued the quiet warmth that a Magcargo brings into a home. A Magcargo inching peacefully across a cool, dim cavern, glowing softly from within, gently warming all the air around it, is a cozy and comforting image of heat at rest. 17. Corsola grows its coral branches in warm, clean, sunlit seas, and small Pokémon shelter among them. But there is a lovely, quiet rhythm to a Corsola's whole life. When the branches on its head happen to break, they slowly grow back again, and that growing, the old accounts say, happens most on peaceful, sunny days in calm and gentle water. Because of this, a healthy, thriving Corsola is a sure sign that the sea all around it is clean and unspoiled and full of life. Where Corsola flourish, the whole reef flourishes with them, and countless tiny creatures make their homes among the branches. A Corsola resting in a bright, clear, sunlit reef, its corals slowly growing, sheltering little fish among its branches, is a peaceful undersea picture of a healthy, quiet sea. 18. Remoraid is a small fish Pokémon with a surprisingly precise aim, but its most charming trait by far is the friendship it keeps with a much larger creature. A Remoraid will often attach itself gently to a Mantine, riding along beneath its great gliding wings, sharing in the food that the Mantine's travels turn up. And the Mantine, for its part, does not seem to mind the company in the least. The two of them travel the wide sea together, a small fish and its enormous gentle companion, each better off for the other. It is one of the ocean's quietest and most enduring partnerships. A Remoraid tucked safely beside a slowly drifting Mantine, the two of them gliding together through warm blue water, is a warm image of unlikely, lasting friendship. 19. Shuckle is a small, patient Pokémon that hides its soft body inside a hard, sturdy shell, and it has one of the most peculiar and gentle habits in all the world. A Shuckle stores berries deep inside its shell, and over a long stretch of time, held quietly and safely in there, those berries slowly break down and change, becoming a rich, thick, delicious juice. In effect, a Shuckle makes juice simply by keeping berries safe and still inside itself for a good long while, asking for nothing at all but patience and time. It is said that the juice a Shuckle makes is prized as a rare treat. A Shuckle tucked snugly under a shady rock, quietly turning ordinary berries into something sweet through nothing more than stillness, is a wonderfully patient and cozy thought. 20. Stantler is a graceful deer Pokémon with large, elegantly curved antlers, and those antlers hold a soft and gentle mystery. The old accounts say that the particular curved shape of a Stantler's antlers can subtly bend the air and the light around them, creating a faint, dreamlike haze that soothes and calms those who happen to gaze upon them. It is never used to cause harm, only to ward off danger by lulling it gently away. A whole herd of Stantler, moving quietly through a misty forest, is said to leave a peaceful, drowsy, dreamy feeling hanging in the air behind them, so that a traveler passing through feels suddenly at ease. A Stantler stepping softly through the morning mist, its curved antlers shimmering faintly, is a serene and dreamlike image. 21. Girafarig is an unusual Pokémon with a second, smaller head at the end of its tail, and this gives it a remarkable and rather cozy ability. That little tailhead does not sleep at the same time as the main one. While the front of the Girafarig dozes off and rests, the small head on its tail stays wide awake, keeping quiet watch over its sleeping self, ready to alert the rest of the body the instant anything approaches. And so a Girafarig is never entirely asleep, and never for a moment left unguarded. One half always rests, while the other half watches over it. A Girafarig dozing peacefully in a sunlit meadow, its little tailhead gently keeping watch so the rest of it can rest easy, is a tender and clever image of built-in care. 22. Dunsparce is a small, shy, serpentine Pokémon that lives underground and is so very rarely seen that many people have never once glimpsed one in their whole lives. It burrows backward into the earth, digging itself out of sight with astonishing speed the moment it feels watched, disappearing into its tunnels without a trace. It has a pair of tiny wings, and though they can only lift it a little way off the ground, a Dunsparce seems genuinely and endearingly proud of being able to fly at all, however slightly. It is a humble, gentle, bashful creature that wants nothing more than to be left in peace in its quiet burrow. A Dunsparce peeking shyly out from its tunnel before ducking quickly back down into the dark is a sweet and bashful sight. 23. Swinub is a small, furry pig Pokémon of the cold northern lands, and it possesses a truly wonderful nose. A Swinub finds all its food entirely by smell, snuffling busily along the frozen ground, and its sense of smell is so keen and so powerful that it can sniff out food buried deep beneath the snow, far out of sight. Sometimes, though, a Swinub catches an especially interesting scent and simply forgets whatever it was doing, wandering happily off in pursuit of the smell, following its nose wherever it leads. It is a fluffy, single-minded, thoroughly endearing little creature. A Swinub snuffling cheerfully through a deep snowdrift, following its nose towards something warm and good to eat, is a cozy winter delight to imagine. 24. Piloswine, the creature Sinnoh grows into, is so thoroughly covered in long, shaggy, protective fur that it can barely see where it is going at all. Its eyes are hidden entirely beneath that heavy coat, and so a piloswine makes its way through the cold world by smell and by feel rather than by sight, and manages perfectly well. That thick, shaggy fur keeps it wonderfully warm even in the most bitter cold, so that a piloswine can plod steadily on through howling snowstorms that would stop almost any other creature in its tracks, guided all the while by its patient nose. A shaggy piloswine trudging calmly and unhurriedly through a blizzard, warm and utterly unbothered beneath its heavy coat, is a sturdy and cozy image of comfort in the cold. 25. Delibird is a kind and generous Pokémon that carries its food bundled up in its long tail, slung over its shoulder like a sack, and the old accounts tell a truly lovely story about it. A Delibird is said to share its food freely and gladly with any creature in need, and there are old tales of Delibird saving lost and starving travelers high in the mountains by appearing out of the storm and giving away the very food it carried. It gives without being asked and without expecting a single thing in return, purely out of a warm and generous heart. It is said that the first mountaineers to reach certain peaks were guided and fed by kind Delibird. A Delibird stepping out of a snowstorm to offer its carried food to a lost, freezing traveler is one of the warmest images in all the Pokémon world. Let us pause here a moment and simply breathe. We have counted 25 small wonders already, and there is no hurry to reach the rest. You do not need to remember any of them. Let them drift away behind you like soft lights on a slow river, going wherever they go, asking nothing of you. Settle a little deeper into the warmth. Let your shoulders soften and your hands and the space between your brows. Feel how the bed holds you up so that you do not have to hold yourself at all. There is nothing to do now but rest and listen. And when you are ready, with no rush at all, we will gently count a few more. 26. Trico is a small green gecko Pokémon, calm and remarkably cool-headed, that makes its home high in the tallest trees. The soles of its feet are covered in countless tiny hooks that let it walk straight up sheer walls and cling to the smoothest branches without ever slipping. A Trico is confident and unshakable, never flustered, never panicked, keeping its composure no matter what happens around it. It watches the world from high in the treetops with a steady, easy, unhurried gaze, master of its own quiet corner of the forest. A Trico resting on a high branch at dusk, cool and untroubled, watching the sun sink slowly over the whole sweep of the forest below, is a peaceful and quietly self-assured image to settle into. 27. Torchic is a small orange chick Pokémon with a soft, round, wonderfully warm body. Deep inside it holds a gentle flame, and because of it, a Torchic's body stays pleasantly warm to the touch at all times, like a small living hot water bottle wrapped in down. When it feels safe and content, a Torchic loves nothing more than to nestle up close against those it trusts, sharing its cozy warmth with them. It makes soft, contented peeping sounds as it huddles up for comfort, and it dislikes being cold or alone. A Torchic snuggling deep into someone's arms, peeping softly, radiating its gentle heat as it drifts towards sleep, is one of the coziest and most heartwarming little images imaginable to drift off beside. 28. Mudkip is a small blue water Pokémon with a large fin on its head, and that fin is a genuine wonder of the senses. Using it, a Mudkip can feel the faintest movements of the water and the air all around it, sensing things far away without ever needing to see or hear them. It can even detect a subtle change in the wind and know that weather is coming long before it arrives. On land, despite its small size and gentle nature, a Mudkip is surprisingly strong and steady, a Mudkip resting quietly by the water's edge, its head fin gently reading every ripple and breeze in the world around it, perfectly aware and perfectly at ease, is a gentle picture of a small creature deeply in tune with its home. 29. Zigzagoon is a small raccoon-like Pokémon that walks in a restless zigzag, never quite in a straight line. And the reason is simply that it is endlessly, cheerfully curious. It is forever investigating, forever poking its nose into interesting corners, forever getting happily distracted by some small thing it has spotted on the ground. Because of all this wandering and rummaging, a zigzagoon becomes very good at finding lost or dropped items, stumbling upon small treasures wherever it goes. It is a bright, restless, good-natured little creature that finds the whole world fascinating. A zigzagoon happily zigzagging its way across a wide field, following its curiosity wherever it happens to lead, turning up small treasures as it goes, is a bright and endearing sight. 30. Lotard we touched on, but Lombre, the creature it grows into, has a gentle and playful nighttime habit. Lombre is active after dark, and it is said to be fond of playing in the water and of quietly startling anglers who fish late into the night. Though it never means the slightest harm by it, it lives right at the water's edge, half in and half out, equally at home in either, and it is a curious and mischievous but good-hearted creature. Through the daylight hours it rests in the shade, and by night it comes out to play in the moonlit shallows while the world sleeps. A Lombre splashing gently and happily in a moonlit pond, alone with the quiet and the stars, is a soft and peaceful nighttime image. 31. Seedot is a small Pokémon that looks almost exactly like an ordinary acorn, and it uses this remarkable resemblance to great and playful effect. A Seedot will hang perfectly still from a tree branch, looking for all the world like just another acorn hanging among the real ones, unnoticed by anyone passing below. The old accounts say that the more still and the more polished a Seedot keeps itself, the shinier and more convincingly acorn-like it becomes. Sometimes it hangs there simply for the fun of surprising a passerby, dropping down gently when they least expect it. A whole cluster of Seedot hanging quietly among the real acorns of an oak, utterly indistinguishable and perfectly, patiently still, is a charming and clever little image. 32. Tylo is a small swallow Pokémon with a brave and determined heart far, far larger than its tiny body. Though it is small, a Tylo will stand its ground bravely against foes many times its size, refusing to back down or be intimidated. But it has a softer side as well. Tylo cannot abide the cold, and so, when winter draws near, whole flocks of them set out together on tremendous migrations, flying thousands of miles across land and sea in search of warmth, chasing the summer to wherever it has gone. They navigate by instinct and by the stars. A great flock of these brave little Tylo, crossing a vast open sky together, chasing the warmth of a distant summer, is a stirring and gentle image of small hearts and long journeys. 33. Wingull and Pelipper we may know, but the gentle daily work of the Pelipper is worth looking at more closely. A Pelipper, with its enormous bill, serves as a trusted messenger of the sea, carrying small Pokémon and folded letters safely across the water in the deep pouch of its beak. It flies steady, low, reliable routes over the waves, delivering its precious cargo faithfully from one shore to the next. In many old coastal towns, the local Pelipper are relied upon to carry the daily mail, and they take the duty seriously. A Pelipper gliding low and steady over a calm evening sea, carrying a letter carefully in its great bill toward a town where someone is waiting for word, is a warm and quietly helpful image. 34. Ralts, Killia, and Gardevoir we have met, but Gallade, another path that a Killia can take, is well worth knowing. Gallade is a noble, chivalrous Pokémon, courteous and deeply protective, that is said to devote itself entirely to defending others from harm. Like its kin, it can sense the feelings of those around it, and it uses that sense to know when someone it cares for is in danger, moving at once to place itself between them and the threat. It carries itself with a deep and unwavering sense of honor. A Gallade will step in front of danger to shield the ones it protects without a single moment's hesitation. A Gallade standing quietly and watchfully beside those it has sworn to protect, calm and courteous and utterly steadfast, is a noble and reassuring image. 35. Slakoth is one of the laziest Pokémon in the entire world, and it has, in its own way, made an absolute art of resting. A Slakoth sleeps for the vast majority of every single day, moving as little as it possibly can and conserving every last scrap of its energy for only the most necessary tasks. It lies draped about in the branches of trees, barely stirring for hours on end, dozing contentedly in the dappled forest light. It is not unwell in the slightest. It is simply, wholly, and unapologetically committed to rest above all else. There is a strange kind of wisdom in a creature so entirely untroubled that it can sleep the whole day away without a shred of guilt. A Slakoth draped lazily over a warm branch, fast asleep in the afternoon sun, is the very picture of untroubled rest. 36. Sableye is a small Pokémon with glittering gemstone eyes that catch the light in the dark, and though it dwells deep in caves, it is a far gentler creature than its shadowy home might suggest. Sableye feed quietly on stones and gems, and over long years, the old accounts say, the minerals they eat slowly crystallize and become the very jewels that form their gleaming eyes. They live peaceful, solitary lives in the deep dark, far from anyone, harming no one at all, simply gathering and eating their beloved stones in the quiet. A Sableye deep in a still cavern, its jeweled eyes suddenly catching a stray beam of light and glittering, quietly going about its patient stone gathering, is a strangely peaceful underground image. 37. Numel is a small, sturdy camel Pokémon that carries a small pool of hot magma within the hump on its back. It is said to be so dull to sensation, so thoroughly mild and unbothered, that a Numel often does not even notice things happening right around it, plodding placidly along in its own warm, slow, contented little world. The magma it carries inside stays hot day and night, and on cold days a Numel becomes a genuinely comforting source of warmth for those beside it. It is patient, sturdy, endlessly good-natured, and almost impossible to fluster. A Numel plodding calmly across a warm plain at its own unhurried pace, carrying its quiet inner fire, entirely at peace with the world, is a gentle and steadfast image of calm. 38. Spoink is a small pig Pokémon that bounces ceaselessly on its springy tail, and there is a gentle, rather touching reason it can never stop. A Spoink's heart, the old accounts say, beats in time with its bouncing, so that it must keep hopping along to keep its own heart beating steadily and well. Even in the depths of sleep, a Spoink keeps up a soft, gentle, rhythmic little bounce. Atop its head it wears a single pearl that it treasures above all else, and it is forever searching for larger and finer ones. A Spoink bouncing softly and steadily along, even as it dozes off, its little heart keeping faithful time with each gentle hop through the night, is an endearing and oddly soothing rhythmic image to drift toward. 39. Spinder is a small panda-like Pokémon with a wobbly, dizzy, unsteady walk, and here is its true and lovely wonder. No two Spinder anywhere in the whole world have the same pattern of spots. Every single Spinder that has ever lived carries a unique arrangement of markings, as individual as a fingerprint, and not one is ever quite the same as another. Its tottering, off-balance way of walking is simply how it moves, and it never seems to mind bumping gently into things. There is something quietly beautiful in a whole species where every single member is unmistakably one of a kind. A Spinder tottering happily and dizzily along in its own wobbly way, utterly unique, unlike any other Spinder that has ever lived or ever will, is a sweet reminder that everyone is a little different. 40. Trapinch lives quietly in the dry desert, digging patient little pits in the sand to wait in. But the true wonder is what it slowly becomes. A Trapinch grows into Vibrava, and then at last into Flygon, a graceful green dragon of the desert sky. Flygon is known as the spirit of the sand, and the old accounts say that the beating of its wings makes a soft, singing, humming sound, so that a Flygon flying through the desert is forever wrapped in its own gentle song. It is rarely ever seen, for it hides itself within sandstorms of its own quiet making, glimpsed only as a shape in the swirling dust. A flygon soaring slowly through a vast golden desert evening, its wings singing softly to the empty sky, is a beautiful and dreamlike image. 41. Cacnea makes its home in the very harshest of deserts, going long, dry stretches without a drop of water, carefully storing away every bit of moisture it finds deep within its sturdy body. And once each year, after patiently building up its strength through the long dry season, a cacnea blooms. A single large, lovely flower opens upon it, lasting only a short while, a small and precious burst of color and beauty in all that dry sand. The old accounts say that cacnea bloom by night, and that their rare flowers draw the small desert Pokémon to gather quietly round them in the dark. A cacnea blooming silently beneath the desert stars, its one rare flower open to the cool night air, small creatures gathered near, is a lovely image of patience richly rewarded. 42. Swablu and Altaria we may know, but Altaria's beautiful voice is worth lingering upon, and Altaria sings in a clear, soaring soprano, and the old accounts say its song has the gentle power to lull those who hear it into a peaceful, dreamy trance, soothing away sadness and worry as it drifts down from above. It hums quietly and happily to itself as it glides among the soft clouds, wrapping the whole sky in its melody. Its cotton cloud wings blend it so completely with the sky that a singing Altaria can seem to be the very voice of the heavens themselves. An Altaria high in the soft evening clouds, singing a slow and lovely song that drifts gently down to the sleepy world far below, is an enchanting and deeply soothing image to rest upon. 43. Zangoose and Sevaper are old rivals out in the wild, but tonight let us think only of Zangoose peacefully at rest. Zangoose is a nimble, cat-like Pokémon, quick and wonderfully agile, and it grooms its clean white fur with great and meticulous care, keeping itself neat and tidy at all times. When it is not on guard against its old rival, a Zangoose is a calm and fastidious creature that loves nothing more than to stretch out luxuriously in a warm patch of sun and doze the afternoon away. It carries itself always with a quiet, careful dignity. A Zangoose curled up contentedly in a warm patch of sunlight, its clean white fur gleaming softly, resting deeply and peacefully with no rival anywhere in sight, is a calm and gentle image. 44. Lunatone we have met, but its quiet nighttime habits deserve a closer, gentler look. Lunatone becomes active on the nights of the full moon, drawing its energy directly from the moonlight, and on those bright nights it is said to float silently and slowly through the dark, its single red eye glowing with a soft, steady light. On nights when the moon hangs full and bright, more Lunatone appear, drifting through the still night air together, like small pieces of the moon itself come gently down to visit the sleeping world. They are calm, quiet, harmless creatures of the night sky, a Lunatone floating peacefully beneath a great full moon, glowing faintly, silently drinking in the moonlight, is a serene and dreamlike nighttime image. 45. Baltoy is a small clay Pokémon that spins as it moves, balancing perfectly on a single point at its base and turning like a child's top. The old accounts say that Baltoy were first discovered near ancient ruins, and that they move about in groups, spinning together in strange, silent, perfectly synchronized patterns, as though following some old and forgotten dance. When a Baltoy finally rests and sleeps, it stands perfectly still and upright, balanced on its single point, and does not topple over, even in the depths of slumber. A whole group of Baltoy, spinning slowly and silently together among old moss-covered ruins, keeping perfect time with one another, is a quietly mysterious and gently mesmerizing image. 46. Phoebus, we know, becomes the beautiful Milotic, but the gentle heart of that story is worth telling again. Phoebus is plain and drab and very often ignored entirely, living out its days in weedy, neglected, muddy ponds where almost no one ever bothers to look for it. But it is a hardy, patient creature, and it endures where finer fish could not, and within its plain little body waits the promise of one of the most beautiful Pokémon in all the world. The change, the old accounts say, comes not to the strongest fibers, but often to the one that has been most gently and lovingly cared for. A humble, overlooked fibers swimming quietly in a forgotten pond, carrying unseen beauty within it, waiting patiently for its moment, is a gentle and deeply hopeful thing to hold on to tonight. 47. Castform is a small, mild Pokémon whose entire body changes to match the weather around it. In bright sunshine, it takes on a warm, sunny form. When the rain begins to fall, it becomes a soft blue teardrop shape. When snow drifts down, it turns cold and white to match. Its very nature shifts along with the sky above it. And so a Castform lives as a kind of gentle, living weather vane, always perfectly dressed for whatever the day happens to bring. It does not resist these changes, but simply becomes whatever the weather is, at peace with each of its forms. A Castform quietly shifting its shape as a soft rain begins to fall, becoming a small blue raindrop to match the weeping sky, is a charming and peaceful image of harmony with the world. 48. Kecleon is a chameleon Pokémon that can change the color of its whole body to match its surroundings, vanishing almost completely from sight when it wishes to. But there is one single part of it that it can never manage to hide. The zigzag stripe across its middle always remains stubbornly visible, no matter how perfectly the rest of it blends into the background. And so a hidden Kecleon can always, in the end, be found, if only you know to look for that one floating, telltale stripe hanging in the air. It is a shy creature that would honestly rather not be seen at all, and finds the stripe a bit of an embarrassment. A Kecleon nearly perfectly hidden against a wall, only its little zigzag stripe quietly giving it away, is an endearing and slightly comic image. 49. Tropius is a large, gentle, dinosaur-like Pokémon with broad, leafy wings, and it carries with it a sweet and generous gift. Bunches of ripe fruit grow naturally around its long neck, and those fruits are said to be truly delicious, sweet and nourishing and plentiful. A Tropius shares its fruit freely with any who are hungry, and in the warm southern regions where it lives, the old accounts say, whole generations of children have grown up eating the sweet fruit that grows around these gentle giants. It flies slowly and calmly on its great leafy wings, a walking, flying orchard drifting from place to place. A Tropius drifting peacefully over a sunny grove, its neck heavy with ripe sweet fruit, sharing it gladly with the children gathered below, is a warm and generous image. 50. Chimecho is a small Pokémon shaped just like a delicate wind chime, and it makes the loveliest, gentlest of sounds. It hangs from tree branches and the eaves of temples by the suction cup atop its head, swaying softly in the passing breeze. And as it sways, it produces soft, ringing, musical cries that drift out and carry on the wind. The old accounts say that the sound of a Chimecho travels a long way, and that it brings a deep and peaceful feeling to all who happen to hear it, settling the heart. In quiet mountain temples, their gentle chiming is treasured. A Chimecho hanging quietly from a temple eave at dusk, chiming softly in the cool evening breeze, filling the still air with its gentle wandering music, is a beautifully calming image to rest upon. Rest here a while. We are 50 wonders in now, and half the night is still ahead of us, waiting gently. There is nothing to do, and nowhere at all to be. Let your breathing slow and lengthen, each breath a little softer than the last. Let all the little facts blur gently together in your mind. The sweet leaves and the drifting singers and the small kind creatures, until they are just a soft, warm, shapeless feeling, glowing quietly in the dark. You are doing this exactly right. Sink a little further down into the warmth and the quiet, and whenever you are ready, with no rush and no effort, we will go on counting, slow and easy, into the middle of the night. 51. Turtwig is a small grass turtle Pokémon with a little green sprout growing right out of the top of its head. That sprout is tied closely to the Turtwig's own health and to the health of the land all around it. When a Turtwig is well cared for and living somewhere clean and green and healthy, its little head sprout grows lush and vivid, a sure sign that all is well. The shell upon its back is made of hardened earth, and the old accounts say it grows firmer and stronger after the turtwig drinks its fill of water. A turtwig dozing peacefully in a sunny green meadow, its little head sprout drinking in the light, its earthen shell warm from the sun, is a grounded and deeply peaceful image. 52. Chimchar is a small fire monkey Pokémon with a flame that burns steadily at the base of its tail. And that flame is a quiet marvel. It burns clean and bright, fueled by gas made deep in the Chimchar's belly. And the old accounts say it never once goes out, not even in a downpour. For the Chimchar shelters it carefully with its own body. A Chimchar is wonderfully nimble and playful, scampering with ease across rocky heights and sheer cliffs where few others could follow. Sure-footed and fearless, it is a cheerful, warm-hearted, energetic little creature. A Chimchar perched high on a rocky ledge at dusk, its small tail flame flickering warmly and bravely against the gathering dark, is a cozy and lively image. 53. Piplup is a small penguin Pokémon with a truly remarkable amount of pride packed into its little body. It is fiercely independent and more than a little stubborn, disliking being given food or offered help, always preferring to manage things entirely on its own. Because of this proud streak, a Piplup will often stubbornly refuse assistance even when it has stumbled and could clearly use a hand. But beneath all that pride beats a brave, loyal, and surprisingly tender little heart. It waddles everywhere with tremendous dignity, head held high. A Piplup marching proudly along a snowy shore with its head lifted, independent and determined, politely refusing all offers of help, is an endearing and gently funny image of small, stubborn determination. 54. Bidoof we may know, but its wonderfully cheerful nature bears repeating and dwelling on. Bidoof is a plump, placid, good-natured Pokémon that lives beside rivers and ponds, building nests and dams from carefully gathered sticks and mud. Its front teeth never stop growing throughout its whole life, and so it must gnaw constantly on wood and stone to keep them worn down and trim, and in all that gnawing and gathering it builds and builds. A Bidoof is calm, hardy, and utterly unbothered by anything, wearing a permanently placid and contented expression on its round face. A Bidoof sitting peacefully beside the little dam it finished building today, its day's work done, gazing quietly and contentedly out at the still water, is a wonderfully mellow and satisfying image. 55. Shinx is a small lion cub Pokémon whose soft fur can shine with electricity, and how it shines tells you a great deal about how it feels. When a Shinx senses danger, its fur blazes suddenly with bright light, and it uses that flash to startle a would-be foe and slip safely away in the confusion. When a Shinx is calm and happy and safe, the light in its fur glows softly, warmly, and steadily, like a small contented lamp. The brightness of a young Shinx's shine is said to be a clear sign of its feelings, glowing warmest when it is most at ease. A Shinx cub curled up fast asleep, its soft fur glowing with the faintest gentle light as it dreams contentedly, is a tender and gently luminous image. 56. Bunary is a small rabbit Pokémon with long ears that it keeps tightly rolled up close to its body most of the time. It can unroll those ears in an instant when it needs to, using them to strike or to spring away in enormous leaps, but ordinarily it keeps them curled and ready. The old accounts say that a Bunary's ears reflect its feelings, unrolling on their own when it is surprised or excited or moved. And when a Bunary comes to fully and completely trust someone, it relaxes its careful guard entirely and lets its ears fall soft and loose. A Bunary dozing peacefully beside a trusted friend, its long ears softly unrolled in a picture of complete and easy trust, resting without a care, is a sweet and tender image of comfort. 57. Pachirisu is a small, bright-eyed squirrel Pokémon that stores electricity in the pouches of its cheeks and rolls little furballs of static charge, which it carefully tucks away into tree hollows for safekeeping. It is a friendly, sociable creature that lives together in cheerful groups, and it happily shares its stored treats and its charged little furballs with its companions. Pairs of Pachirisu are said to groom one another affectionately, rubbing their cheeks together to share their electricity as a warm sign of friendship and trust. A pair of Pachirisu nestled cozily together in a snug tree hollow, sharing their little charged fur balls and gently grooming each other as the evening falls, is a warm and companionable image. 58. Cherubi and Charim we may know, but the pure cheerfulness of a Charim in the sun is well worth returning to. When the sun finally breaks through the clouds, a Charim throws open all its petals at once and becomes a bright, joyful, radiant bloom, drinking in the warmth with what looks for all the world like obvious delight. The old accounts say that the sight of a whole group of Charim opening together as the clouds part can genuinely lift the spirits of anyone lucky enough to be watching. They live, quite simply, for sunshine and grow drowsy and folded in the shade. A whole hillside of Charim bursting joyfully into bloom the very moment the sun breaks through, turning the entire green slope pink and gold, is a heartening and lovely image. 59. Drifloon and Driftblim drift gently upon the wind, but Driftblim keeps a peaceful and rather beautiful evening habit. A Driftblim is most active at dusk, and the old accounts say that as the sun begins to set, whole flocks of them rise silently up into the glowing evening sky, drifting slowly and steadily upward together on the warm rising air, carried wherever the gentle wind chooses to take them. They travel in soft, quiet groups, floating like a drift of colored balloons against the sunset, in no hurry to arrive anywhere at all. A group of Driftblim rising quietly and dreamily into a deep golden dusk sky, drifting off together toward the far horizon as the day ends, is a strangely peaceful and beautiful image to imagine. 60. Beazle is a small, sleek otter Pokémon, wonderfully well suited to a life in the water. Around its neck, it wears a flotation sac, a kind of built-in life ring, which it can inflate at will to float effortlessly on the surface or to keep its head safely above rough and choppy water. It spins its two long tails together like a propeller to swim swiftly through rivers and along the coast, and when it simply wants to rest, a Beazle inflates its sac, lies back, and bobs along on the surface, perfectly and completely relaxed. A Beazle floating lazily on its back down a calm, slow river in the afternoon, its flotation sac keeping it comfortably afloat, drifting gently along with the easy current, is a soothing and restful water image. 61. Shellos and Gastrodon are soft sea slug Pokémon that come in two different colors depending on where in the world they happen to live. Pink in the west and blue in the east, their forms shaped slowly and gently by their different homes over countless long ages. They are soft, gentle, unhurried, slow-moving creatures that leave a glistening trail of protective slime behind them wherever they travel. A Gastrodon simply plods along the shoreline and through the warm shallows at its own gentle pace, unhurried and quite content with its slow, peaceful life. Whether it is pink or blue, it lives the same calm, easygoing existence by the sea. A Gastrodon making its slow, contented way along a quiet beach at low tide, in no hurry to be anywhere at all, is a mellow and untroubled image. 62. Chingling is a small bell-like Pokémon, the cheerful young form of Chimecho, and it too fills the air with gentle sound. As it hops happily about, a Chingling rings softly, for a small sphere inside its throat bounces with each little hop to make a clear, bell-like chime. It emits high, pure, ringing cries as it moves along, and the old accounts say the sound of it is pleasant and calming to hear, settling the mind. In quiet temple grounds, a wandering Chingling is a welcome and soothing presence. A Chingling hopping merrily along a quiet temple path at dusk, ringing softly with each little hop like a small wandering bell, filling the still evening air with its gentle chimes, is a charming and peaceful image. 63. Happiny is the tiny, gentle young form of Chansey, and it already shares its whole family's deeply caring and tender nature. A Happiny loves round, smooth, white things above all else, and it carefully carries a smooth white stone tucked into its little belly pouch, treating that stone with the greatest imaginable care, as though it were a precious and fragile egg. It is imitating the grown Chansey it dearly hopes one day to become, practicing the gentle art of kindness and care long before it is old enough to give real, nourishing eggs to those in need. A little Happiny cradling its round white stone with such solemn tenderness, practicing the gentle care it will one day give freely to the whole world, is a deeply sweet and touching image. 64. Riolu and Lucario rid the auras of living things, but young Riolu's silent way of speaking is worth dwelling upon. A Riolu shares its own feelings through its aura, letting those close to it sense its joy, its worry, or its quiet hope, without ever making a single sound, so that a trusted friend always knows exactly how it feels, and it can read the auras of others just as clearly, so that it knows, often far better than any words could tell it, how the ones it loves are truly feeling inside. It is a deeply empathetic and sensitive little creature, a Riolu resting quietly beside its trainer as the evening falls, the two of them understanding one another perfectly through a silent, gentle, wordless exchange of feeling, is a tender and intimate image. 65. Hippopotas is a small hippo Pokémon of the dry desert, one that surrounds and cares for itself with sand rather than water. It wraps itself in a constant, gentle veil of sand, and it bathes in warm sand instead of water to keep its skin healthy and clean and free of pests. When a hippopotas is content and happy, it releases little contented puffs of sand from the small ports along its back, almost like sighs of comfort. It is a calm, sturdy, sand-loving creature, perfectly at home in the warm desert. A hippopotas dozing peacefully in the warm desert sand at midday, wrapped snugly in its own gentle sand veil, releasing little happy puffs of sand as it dreams, is a cozy and peaceful desert image. 66. Combi and Vespican we may know, but the gentle order of their hive is worth a closer, warmer look. Combi gather together in great numbers, and at night, the old accounts say, they cluster into a living wall to keep one another warm, each tiny three-celled combi finding and taking its own small place within the greater whole. When a Vespican comes to lead them, the entire colony moves and works as one, each small worker cared for, kept safe, and given its own part to play. It is a picture of countless small creatures working together in quiet, patient harmony, a great warm wall of sleeping combi, all clustered snugly together against the cool of the night, each one safe and warm among its many kin, is a cozy and companionable image. 67. Carnivine is a gentle giant, hiding behind a fearsome-looking face. It hangs from the branches of trees deep in the swamp, dangling by a thick vine, its large mouth held open, waiting patiently and quietly. Though it may look alarming at first glance, a carnivine actually moves very slowly and spends the great majority of its long days simply hanging there, swaying gently back and forth in the warm, heavy, humid air, in no hurry whatsoever to do anything at all. It is, in truth, one of the most patient of all Pokémon, perfectly content to wait and wait and wait. A carnivine hanging quietly from a mossy branch above a still, dark swamp, swaying slowly in the warm air, waiting in perfect patience, is a slow and unexpectedly peaceful image. 68. Finneon is a small and beautiful fish Pokémon that gives off a soft, gentle glow in the dark water. The fins along a Finneon's body produce a faint, lovely light, and at night, whole schools of them drift together through the dark sea, glowing quietly, like a scattering of small stars moving beneath the surface of the water. As a Finneon grows into Luminion, that soft light grows brighter still, enough to light up patches of the deep sea floor for others to see by. A whole school of Finneon, glowing softly as they drift together through the dark, quiet night sea, moving like a slow living constellation just beneath the gentle waves, is a beautiful and deeply dreamlike image to picture. 69. Snova is a small Pokémon that makes its home high up in the snowy mountains, far above the tree line, and it has an unusually gentle and trusting nature because it lives so remotely, so far from people and their comings and goings. A Snova has grown up with little fear and a great deal of open curiosity, and the old accounts say it will come right down a snowy slope to approach a passing traveler, wanting only to see them up close. Entirely unafraid, small round berries grow upon its body in the cold, which it shares. A curious little snover, coming quietly and gently down a snowy mountainside to peer at a surprised and delighted traveler, unafraid and openly inquisitive, is a sweet and heartwarming winter image. 70. Munchlax, we may know, grows into the great sleepy Snorlax, but its endless appetite has a genuinely endearing side to it. A Munchlax hides food away in its long fur and in little caches beneath its home, carefully storing up treats for later, though it very often forgets exactly where it hid them and is then delighted all over again to rediscover them by happy accident. It eats truly enormous amounts of food, and then, thoroughly full and content, it grows pleasantly and irresistibly sleepy and dozes off. It lives a simple, happy life of eating and resting and eating again. A Munchlax settling down for a long, contented nap after an enormous meal, warm and stuffed and utterly at peace with the world, is a cozy and thoroughly relatable image to drift off beside. 71. Mime Jr. is a small Pokémon that dearly loves to imitate everything around it. It copies the movements of those nearby, mirroring them exactly and instantly, and it does this partly out of a genuine joyful love of mimicry, and partly as a gentle way to put others at their ease. The old accounts say that when a Mime Jr. senses tension or unease in the air, it will begin quietly to mimic and to play, and that this playful mirroring often charms and calms those who are watching, softening the mood. It simply wants, at heart, to join in and to make a little peace. A little Mime Jr. cheerfully and precisely mirroring the happy dance of a laughing child, the two of them delighting each other, is a playful and gentle image. 72. Bonsly is a small Pokémon that looks exactly like a little potted bonsai tree, and it carries a tender and slightly comic quirk. A Bonsly stores any excess water inside its small body, and when it has taken in too much, it releases that water from its eyes, so that it very often appears, to anyone watching, to be quietly crying. It is not truly sad at all. It is simply and sensibly keeping its body's water in careful balance the only way it knows how. But the sight of a small Bonsly, with tears welling in its eyes, has melted a great many hearts over the years. A little Bonsly, quietly releasing its extra water, looking for all the world as though it could use a gentle hug, is an endearing and gently comic image that is nearly impossible not to love. 73. Lickitung and Lickilicky are known the world over for their extraordinarily long tongues, but Lickitung's way of exploring and understanding the world is gentle and wonderfully childlike. A Lickitung learns about new things by licking them, tasting the world in order to understand it, in much the same way that a small curious child reaches out to touch and handle everything within reach. It is a slow, curious, thoroughly good-natured creature, and it means absolutely no harm by all its tasting. It simply wants, very sincerely, to understand and to know. A Lickitung gently and carefully tasting a new flower to learn what sort of thing it is, curious and harmless and wide-eyed, exploring its whole world one careful lick at a time, is a sweet and innocent image. 74. Yanma and Yanmega are dragonfly Pokémon, blessed with truly astonishing eyes. A Yanma can see in every direction all at once, its two great compound eyes taking in the entire world around it, without its ever needing to turn its head even slightly. It darts and hovers and hangs in the warm summer air, with perfect, effortless awareness of everything happening nearby, missing nothing. On warm golden evenings, the old accounts say, Yanma fill the air above quiet ponds, hovering together in the last light of the day. A Yanma hovering peacefully and perfectly still above a calm, mirror-still pond in the warm golden glow of a summer evening, quietly aware of all the gentle world around it, is a serene and timeless image. 75. Mantike and Mantine we have met, but the lifelong friendship at the very heart of a Mantine's life is well worth returning to once more. A Mantine most often swims through the sea with a small Remoraid riding along beneath its broad wing, and the two of them share the wide ocean as lifelong companions, each one helping and looking out for the other as they travel. A mantine glides through the water with such easy grace that it seems almost to fly, and now and then it leaps joyfully clear of the surface into the open air before slipping smoothly back beneath the waves. It is one of the gentlest and most companionable of all sea creatures. A mantine soaring through clear blue water with its small Remoraid friend close beside it. The two drifting together through the sunlit sea is a warm and peaceful image. Let us take another soft breath together here. 75 wonders have drifted quietly past us now, and if you have long since lost track of them, that is exactly and perfectly right. You were never meant to hold on to them at all. Let them go, gently and completely, like small paper lanterns set down one by one on still, dark water and left to float away. Sink a little further into the warmth of where you are lying. Feel your whole body growing heavier and softer and more at ease with each slow breath. There is nothing left to do tonight but rest, and whenever the quiet feels right, with no effort at all, we will keep on counting, softly and slowly, into the deeper and gentler part of the night. 76. Snivy is a small, elegant grass snake Pokémon, calm and wonderfully composed, that carries itself always with a quiet, cool poise. It basks in the sunlight to gather its energy, and when it does, the old accounts say, it grows swifter and more nimble and more sure of itself. But for the most part, a Snivy simply suns itself, cool and collected and unbothered. Its small leafy tail lifted gracefully to catch the light, it very rarely loses its composure, no matter what happens around it, keeping its calm, the way a well-mannered noble might. A Snivy stretched out along a warm branch in the golden afternoon sun, elegant and serene and perfectly at ease, quietly gathering the light into itself, is a poised and peaceful image to settle into. 77. Tepig is a small fire pig Pokémon with the warmest and most endearing of natures. It breathes fire out through its nose, and the old accounts note, rather charmingly, that when a Tepig happens to catch a cold, it blows soft puffs of smoke instead of proper flame. A Tepig loves to eat above almost anything, and it carefully roasts berries and roots and other treats with its own gentle fire, before happily and thoroughly gobbling them all up. It is a warm-hearted, food-loving, good-natured little creature that is happiest with a full belly and a warm fire. A Tepig carefully roasting a little handful of berries over its own small flame on a cool evening, watching them and looking forward eagerly to its snack, is a cozy and heartwarming image. 78. Oshawott is a small otter Pokémon that carries a Scowchop on its belly, a small smooth shell that it uses as a handy tool and that it treasures above all its other possessions. It uses the shell to crack open tough food and, when it must, to defend itself, but mostly it simply cares for it lovingly, keeping it clean and polished to a shine. An Oshawott is brave at heart and a little sensitive, and it takes great and visible pride in its little shell, showing it off to those it trusts. An Oshawott sitting quietly by the water's edge at dusk, gently and carefully polishing its precious Scowchop until it gleams, proud and content with its one small treasure, is a sweet and endearing image. 79. Lillipup is a small puppy Pokémon, covered all over in shaggy, tumbling fur, and beneath its brave and spirited exterior beats a deeply loyal and loving heart. The long fur that hangs around its face acts almost like a set of delicate sensors, letting it feel out its surroundings and sense what is near even in the dark. A Lillipup is genuinely courageous, standing up without hesitation to foes far larger than itself in defense of those it loves. Yet it is also gentle and endlessly affectionate to those it has come to trust. It is, in every way that matters, a very good dog. A Lillipup curled up faithfully at the foot of a bed, keeping quiet and watchful company as its trusted friend drifts off to sleep, is a warm and comforting image of loyal companionship. 80. Munna and Mushana we have met, but the gentle dreams they tend are well worth returning to. A Moshana gives off a soft, glowing mist made from all the dreams it has quietly eaten, and the old accounts say that the pleasant, happy dreams make the most beautiful soft pink mist of all. In the old days, they say, the dream mist of a Moshana was carefully gathered and used to help those who could not sleep, easing them gently down into deep and restful slumber. It is a calm, drowsy, kindly creature that means only peace, a Moshana floating quietly in a still, dark room late at night, breathing out a soft pink glow made of happy dreams, watching patiently over a restless sleeper until they finally gently drift off, is a beautifully soothing image. 81. Ordino, we know, is a gentle healer, but the true tenderness of its quiet work deserves dwelling on. Using the long, delicate feelers on its ears, an Ordino can listen closely to the heartbeat of another creature and know from it exactly how that creature feels, whether it is well or unwell, whether it is hurting somewhere hidden, even whether new life is quietly on the way. Because of this rare and precious gift, Ordino are cherished everywhere as gentle nurses and devoted caretakers, trusted with the youngest and the most fragile. An Ordino softly and carefully pressing its ear feeler against a small, sleepy Pokémon, listening with the greatest tenderness and care to the quiet music of its heart to make certain that all is well, is a deeply comforting image. 82. Cottony and Whimsicott drift lightly on the wind, but Cottony keeps a gentle habit worth knowing. When the weather turns dry and clear, a Cottony releases soft, fluffy tufts of cotton to ride away on the passing breeze, and it uses that very same cotton as a soft and safe little bed, curling up snugly in a gathered pile of its own fluff whenever it wishes to sleep. Cottony like to gather together in groups, and a whole cluster of them resting on the ground looks for all the world like a small, low drift of clouds come down to rest in the grass. A Cottony nestled deep and warm in a soft pile of its own gathered cotton, sleeping snuggly like a little cloud settled down to rest, is a wonderfully cozy image. 83. Petalil and Lilligant we have met, but Lilligant's calming flower is well worth returning to. The single lovely bloom that crowns a Lilligant gives off a soothing, deeply relaxing fragrance, one so gentle and so pleasant that the old accounts say it can calm even those who are badly upset or unwell, settling their nerves and easing their hearts. That flower is famously difficult to keep in full and healthy bloom, and even the most skilled and patient of gardeners struggle to match the natural loveliness of a wild Lilligant's crown. A Lilligant standing quietly and gracefully in a sunlit meadow, its calming fragrance drifting softly on the warm afternoon air, gently settling the hearts of all who happen near, is a serene and lovely image to rest upon. 84. Ducklet is a small waterbird Pokémon, graceful and confident in the water, and a little shy and awkward on land. It dives readily beneath the surface to feed on tender underwater plants, and it is a wonderfully skilled and effortless swimmer, far more at home gliding through the water than laboring through the air. When it preens, a ducklet carefully spreads a natural water-repelling oil across all its feathers, keeping itself perfectly dry and warm no matter how long it stays in the water. A ducklet paddling peacefully across a calm, mist-wreathed pond at dawn, diving now and then for a gentle breakfast, gliding quietly through the still and silver water, is a soft and tranquil image. 85. Swanna is the graceful swan Pokémon that a ducklet grows into, and it is renowned above all for the beauty of its dancing. Swanna are said to dance together, and whole flocks of them will perform slow, flowing, perfectly synchronized dances upon the surface of the water, moving as one in graceful patterns, especially as the evening light begins to fade. Their long, elegant necks curve and sweep beautifully as they glide and turn. The old accounts speak with real reverence of the sight of a Swanna dance at sunset, a whole flock of Swanna dancing slowly and gracefully together upon a still golden lake as the sun sinks low, their every movement flowing as one, is a beautiful and deeply peaceful image. 86. Deerling changes its color with the seasons, but its grown form Sawsbuck wears those seasons proudly and grandly upon its antlers. A sawsbuck's antlers transform with the passing year, sprouting delicate flowers in the spring, growing full and green with leaves through the summer, blazing with red and gold foliage in the autumn, and standing bare and stark in the winter. The whole herd moves and shifts along with the turning seasons, and in the old days, people could tell the exact time of year simply by looking at the state of the nearest sawsbuck. A sawsbuck standing proudly in a quiet autumn wood, its great antlers crowned with red and gold leaves that perfectly match the blazing forest all around it, is a majestic and beautifully seasonal image. 87. Emolga is a small flying squirrel Pokémon that glides gracefully between the trees on a soft membrane stretched between its little limbs. It stores electricity in the pouches of its cheeks, and as it glides, it sometimes releases small, harmless sparks that light its way through the shadowy treetops. Emolga are playful, energetic, and deeply social creatures, gliding about together in cheerful groups high up in the forest canopy, chasing one another among the leaves. They are bright, lively little spirits of the high branches, always in gentle motion, an Emolga gliding softly and silently from tree to tree in the warm golden light of evening, trailing a few tiny sparks behind it, playing happily among the high leaves, is a lively and charming image. 88. Foongus and Amoongus are mushroom Pokémon with a rather curious and comical disguise. For reasons that no one has ever fully explained, the caps of these Pokémon have come, over the ages, to closely resemble the red and white design of a Pokéball, and they use this odd resemblance to blend in among dropped items, waiting quietly and patiently in the tall grass. They are slow, gentle, mild creatures, mostly harmless, drifting along at their own thoroughly unhurried pace and startling the occasional traveler who reaches for what they took to be a dropped ball. A little Foongus sitting patiently in a quiet meadow, doing its very best impression of a dropped Pokeball, waiting placidly for nothing in particular, is a quietly comic and endearing image. 89. Alomomola we have met, the gentle healer of the open sea, but its quiet kindness is well worth returning to. An Alomomola drifts endlessly through the wide ocean, and whenever it comes upon a wounded or exhausted creature adrift and struggling in the water, it wraps that creature gently in a special membrane that soothes its pain and speeds its healing, then carries it along carefully until it has fully recovered. It asks for nothing at all in return for this kindness. It simply roams the endless sea, mending whoever and whatever it happens to find in need of mending. An Alomomola cradling a small injured Pokémon in its soft healing embrace, drifting slowly and patiently through the calm sea, watching over its charge until it is well and strong again, is a deeply kind and gentle image. 90. Cryogonal we have met, but its delicate and beautiful nature bears dwelling on. A Cryogonal is born high up within the snow clouds, and its whole body is a glittering, intricate lattice of ice crystals linked together in fine chains that catch and sparkle in the light. In warm places, it slowly melts away into a soft mist and drifts gently apart, and so it keeps carefully to the coldest and highest air where it can hold its lovely shape. It is beautiful, fragile, quiet, and utterly harmless. A Cryogonal turning slowly and silently in the pale, clear winter light, high up on a mountainside, its delicate crystal body catching the low sun and scattering it into countless tiny rainbows, is an ethereal and lovely image of winter stillness. 91. Chespin is a small, cheerful grass Pokémon, protected by a tough, spiny cap and shell that shields it remarkably well from harm. Despite its sturdy little suit of natural armor, a Chespin is friendly and a touch carefree, endlessly curious about the world, and quick to offer its trust to those it meets. The nut-like shell atop its head is hard enough to blunt a surprisingly strong blow, and yet the Chespin beneath all that armor is soft-hearted, warm, and eager above all for friendship and good company. A Chespin bounding cheerfully and fearlessly through a sunlit wood, safe and snug in its own little shell, curious and happy and open-hearted, ready at any moment to make a new friend, is a bright and warm-hearted image. 92. Fennekin is a small fox Pokémon with large, lovely, expressive ears, and it holds a gentle warmth within its little body. A Fennekin breathes out hot air and small drifting embers through those big ears, and its body stays cozy and warm through and through. The old accounts say it is quite fond of snacking on small twigs, which it burns for energy deep in its belly to keep its inner fire well fed. It is a clever, watchful, warm-natured little creature with a soft glow about it. A Fennekin curled up snugly beside a small crackling fire on a cool and quiet night, its large ears twitching now and then, warm from the inside out, dozing contentedly in the firelight, is a cozy and gentle image. 93. Froakie is a small frog Pokémon covered all over in a delicate layer of bubbles, which it produces from its own body and wears about itself like a soft protective cloak of foam. These bubbles cushion it gently from bumps and blows and keep its skin comfortably moist wherever it goes. A Froakie is nimble and quick and quietly alert, leaping lightly and easily from place to place, but beneath all that motion, it is calm and observant, taking in everything around it. It watches the world with keen, thoughtful, patient eyes. A Froakie perched on a lily pad at dusk, wrapped snugly in its soft cloak of bubbles, watching the quiet, darkening pond with calm and gentle attention, is a peaceful and watchful image. 94. Flabébert, Floette, and Florges are the flower fairies of the Kalos region, and the devotion at the heart of their lives is truly beautiful. A Flabébert finds one single flower when it is born and cares tenderly for that one flower its whole life, never once leaving its side. As it grows into Floette and at last into Florges, it comes to tend whole gardens, and a Florges, the old accounts say, can call forth beautiful fields of flowers and draws its own strength and joy from their splendor. It lives, quite simply, to make things bloom and grow. A Florges standing serenely in the midst of a vast and glorious garden of its own patient making, surrounded on every side by flowers of every imaginable color, tending them all with quiet and unwavering love, is a radiant and peaceful image. 95. Furfrou is an elegant poodle-like Pokémon whose fine coat can be carefully groomed into many beautiful and intricate styles. And in the old days of the Kalos region, the accounts say, Furfrou were the treasured companions of kings and queens, their careful grooming a visible sign of the deep bond between the Pokémon and the person who cared for it. A well-groomed Furfrou is a living picture of loyalty, trust, and mutual care. Beneath all the elegant trimming and styling beats a devoted, affectionate, and gentle heart that asks only for love in return. A Furfrou resting proudly and contentedly beside the person who grooms and loves it. Its carefully kept coat, a quiet sign of their gentle and lasting bond, is a dignified and heartwarming image. 96. Esper is a small cat Pokémon with wide, round, startled-looking eyes, and beneath that blank and slightly anxious expression lies a genuinely surprising secret. An Esper holds within it a very great deal of psychic power, so very much, in fact, that it must keep its remarkable ears folded down tightly and closed at all times in order to hold that power safely in, for fear of releasing far too much of it all at once, and so it moves quietly, carefully, and gently through the world, always keeping its great strength softly and deliberately contained. It is far calmer and far more careful than its startled little face would suggest. An Esper, sitting very still and very quiet, patiently keeping its great power gently in check, watching the world go by with its wide and gentle eyes, is a calm and quietly powerful image. 97. Swirlix and Slurpuff we have met, the sweet cotton candy Pokémon, but the pure sugary sweetness of a Swirlix is worth savoring once more. A Swirlix eats so very many sweet things that its soft, fluffy white fur has, over time, become genuinely sweet itself, sticky and sugary as freshly spun candy, giving off a gentle, pleasant smell of sugar wherever it happens to wander. It is a soft, sweet-smelling, sweet-natured little creature through and through, and it dearly loves anyone who shares a treat with it. A Swirlix napping contentedly in a warm sunbeam, smelling faintly and pleasantly of sugar. Its fluffy fur soft and sweet to the touch, dreaming happily of desserts, is a wonderfully cozy and sweet image to drift toward. 98. Sylveon we have met, but the deep calm it brings is well worth returning to. A Sylveon reaches out gently with its long ribbon-like feelers and wraps them softly around those it has come to trust, and from its body it gives off a soothing, tender aura that is said to soften anger and quiet even the fiercest hostility. In the old accounts, a Sylveon can bring an end to a quarrel simply by drawing near and letting its quiet peace spread outward to fill the room. It is one of the gentlest and most affectionate of all Pokémon. A Sylveon nestled close beside a friend, its soft ribbons wrapped gently around them, its calming aura settling over the whole quiet room like a warm and weightless blanket, is a tender and soothing image. 99. Dedenne is a small mouse Pokémon with long whisker-like antennae that can send and receive signals, working almost like a little living radio built into its own body. A Dedenne uses these antennae to communicate with others of its kind across surprisingly long distances and to seek out warm, snug places to build its nests. It gathers electricity from wherever it can find it and shares that stored energy generously with its friends when they run low. Dedenne love to huddle together in warm little nooks to stay cozy against the cold. A whole group of Dedenne snuggled up together in a warm little nest tucked into a wall, chattering softly and companionably to one another through their antennae as the night grows cold outside, is a cozy and companionable image. 100. Amara is a gentle, dinosaur-like Pokémon revived from ancient ice, a creature carried forward out of a much older and colder world than our own. It gives off cool air from the delicate sail-like crests that rise from its head, and the old accounts tell that long, long ago, whole herds of Amara roamed lands of ice and endless snow, and that on cold, clear nights, their pale bodies would shimmer softly with the shifting colors of the aurora overhead. It is a gentle, calm, ancient creature of the deep cold, a whole herd of Amara resting quietly upon a vast ancient snowfield beneath a great shimmering aurora, their crests glowing softly with the borrowed colors of the sky, is a beautiful and dreamlike image of a peaceful world long, long past. Rest for a moment here. 100 small wonders now, counted gently and then let go, one after another. The whole world is sleeping all around you as we count, in its burrows and its meadows and its quiet, darkened seas, and you are in the very best of company. There is no need at all to follow closely anymore, or to keep track, or to try. Just let the gentle voice go on, and let it carry you along like a slow, warm current, and drift wherever it happens to take you. Your only task now is to rest. And when you are ready, with no effort and no rush, a few more small wonders are waiting, soft and slow, to carry you the rest of the way down into sleep. 101. Rowlet is a small, round owl Pokémon, and it may be one of the most endearing sleepers in all the world. A Rowlet flies in perfect silence on soft, muffled wings, gliding through the dark without a sound, but it tires easily, and when it does, it simply tucks its little head down into its feathers and falls fast asleep, right then and there, wherever it happens to be. It can rotate its head almost the whole way around to keep a lazy eye on its surroundings before it dozes. A little round Rowlet, thoroughly worn out from an evening of flying, tucking its head down into its soft feathers and drifting off to sleep in the safe crook of a branch, round and snug as a small feathered ball, is an irresistibly cozy image. 102. Litten is a small fire cat Pokémon, cool and a touch aloof, that grooms itself with the careful, unhurried dignity of any proper cat. As it grooms, it gathers up its own loose fur, and it can then set that stored fur alight to make its flames when it needs them. A Litten tends to keep its feelings very much to itself and rarely shows any sign of weakness to the world, but it slowly and quietly forms deep and lasting bonds with those few who patiently earn its trust. A Litten sitting in a warm sunlit windowsill at dusk, grooming itself with quiet dignity, keeping its own private counsel, gradually and grudgingly warming to the gentle person who cares for it, is a calm and quietly affectionate image. 103. Poplio and Primarina we have met, but Poplio's cheerful, determined practice is well worth returning to. A Poplio works hard, day after day, at making balloons of water from its nose, practicing patiently and tirelessly, bouncing them and juggling them, and slowly growing more and more skilled at its craft. It uses these water balloons in its play and in its performances, and it never seems to grow tired or discouraged, no matter how many pop. It is a cheerful, determined, good-natured little creature that delights in its own slow progress. A Poplio on a sunny beach, patiently practicing its water balloons, clapping with pure delight each time it manages to make a bigger and rounder one than before. Playing happily by the shore is a bright and joyful image of gentle perseverance. 104. Yungoos is a small, sturdy mongoose Pokémon with a large appetite and a wonderfully simple and reliable daily rhythm. It spends the entire day busily hunting and foraging for food, tirelessly on the move from morning until evening. And by the time the sun begins to set, it is so thoroughly worn out that it simply flops down wherever it happens to be standing and falls at once into a deep and dreamless sleep. It keeps very regular hours indeed, wide awake and busy all through the day, and dead to the world all through the night. A Yungoos collapsing into a contented, exhausted heap at sundown, utterly tired out from a long and honest day's work, sleeping soundly straight through the night, is a relatable and cozy image of a thoroughly well-earned rest. 105. Pikipek is a small woodpecker Pokémon that drums upon tree trunks with truly astonishing speed. It pecks neat little holes into the bark and stores berries and small stones inside them, keeping tidy little hidden pantries tucked all through the trees of its home. It also uses its rapid drumming to send signals to others of its kind across the whole forest, tapping out messages in careful rhythm the way we might send words down a wire. It is a busy, cheerful, clever little creature, always about some purposeful task. A Pikipek carefully tucking a bright red berry into one of its little tree hollow pantries to save for later, then drumming out a cheerful message to its friends across the wood, is a lively and industrious image. 106. Comfey we have met, the flower garland Pokémon of Alola, but its healing kindness bears returning to once more. A Comfey gathers fresh flowers and carefully strings them together into a fragrant lei that it wears about itself always, and the sweet scent of that lei is deeply soothing and gently healing to all who come near it. The old accounts say that Comfey are often brought to the sick and the tired and the sorrowful, drifting close to comfort them with nothing more than their gentle, flowery fragrance. A Comfey floating softly and quietly through a still room where someone lies unwell, trailing behind it the sweet and healing scent of its flowers, bringing quiet comfort simply by choosing to be near, is a deeply gentle and caring image. 107. Mudbray is a small, sturdy, hard-working donkey Pokémon, calm and dependable, that plays in the mud to keep itself strong and healthy and sure-footed. It coats its legs in mud, which dries and hardens into a firm protective layer that gives it a steady, unshakable footing on even the roughest ground. A Mudbray is famously reliable and steady, able to carry astonishingly heavy loads for its size without a single complaint, plodding on patiently and tirelessly. It is patient, dependable, and quietly proud of its honest strength. A Mudbray plodding steadily and contentedly along a country road at its own calm and unhurried pace, strong and reliable, and at peace with its honest work, is a grounded and reassuring image of quiet dependability. 108. Stuffle is a small bear cub Pokémon that looks about as utterly huggable as any creature possibly could, and the sweet truth is that it very much wants to be hugged, though it is also terribly shy and easily startled by strangers. It loves affection deeply from those it fully and completely trusts, melting happily into their arms, but it grows bashful and skittish with anyone it does not yet know. When at last a Stuffle feels truly safe, it becomes wonderfully cuddly and content. It simply needs, first, to be quite sure that it is among gentle friends, a Stuffle finally relaxing entirely into the arms of someone it has come to fully trust, all its shyness and worry melting away at last, soft and warm and content, is an utterly heartwarming and cozy image. 109. Bounsweet is a small, sweet, round fruit Pokémon that gives off a genuinely delicious and delightful fragrance. Its aroma is so pleasant and so sweet that people are said to keep a Bounsweet nearby in their homes simply to enjoy the lovely smell that fills a whole room around it. When a Bounsweet is happy and content, it hops and bounces cheerfully about, releasing even more of its wonderful fragrance into the air as it goes. It is small, round, sweet-smelling, and thoroughly, irresistibly delightful in every way. A Bounsweet bouncing happily around a warm sunlit kitchen, filling the entire room with a sweet and fruity fragrance, spreading its lovely scent and its cheer wherever it hops, is a bright and delicious image. 110. Cutifly and Ribombee flit gently among the flowers, and Ribombee's careful little pollen puffs are worth dwelling on. A Ribombee gathers pollen and rolls it patiently into tiny, soft, fuzzy puffs, and each kind of puff, the old accounts say, holds its own gentle effect, some to heal, some to soothe, some to lend a small measure of strength to whoever needs it. It stores these precious puffs away with great care, and it strongly dislikes the rain, which spoils and ruins its delicate work in a moment. It is a tidy, patient, industrious little creature, a Ribombee on a bright, clear morning, busily and happily tending to its little collection of pollen puffs among the sunlit flowers, quietly content in its careful, gentle work, is a peaceful and industrious image. 111. Wimpod is a small, skittish, timid creature that scuttles quickly along the shorelines and the sea floor, and though it is famously and hopelessly cowardly, it quietly performs a genuine and useful good deed. A Wimpod is powerfully drawn to anything shiny or interesting, and as it scavenges busily for such things, it gathers up scraps and litter and keeps its home spotlessly clean in the process. Where Wimpod make their home, the old accounts say, the shore and the sea floor are always tidy and clean. Its very timidness and its love of shiny scraps make it a wonderful little caretaker of its patch of the world. A skittering Wimpod tidying up a quiet beach at dawn, keeping its home clean simply by following its endless curiosity, is a humble and gently useful image. 112. Velmies is a most unusual Pokémon. An old ship's anchor and a wooden steering wheel, given life long ago by the drifting spirit of seaweed and the deep sea itself, wandering now through the quiet ocean depths. It has spent so very long down in the water, the old accounts say, that it has become a part of the sea's own long and forgotten history, at home among sunken and lost things. Despite its strange and haunting origin, it drifts along calmly and peacefully through the deep, wrapped in trailing seaweed, entirely at ease among the wrecks and relics. A Velmies drifting slowly and quietly through the deep blue depths, an old forgotten piece of some long-lost ship, now gently and mysteriously alive, at perfect peace among the sunken relics of the sea, is a strangely serene image. 113. The little Pukumuku of Alola is one of the world's most peculiar and most deeply, wonderfully contented creatures. A Pukumuku is a small, soft sea cucumber Pokémon that lives in the warm coastal shallows, and it is so perfectly and thoroughly happy to stay exactly where it is that when the tide happens to carry it out of its favorite spot, kind local people gently pick it up and toss it right back where it belongs. It seems to have no ambition whatsoever beyond lying peacefully in its own chosen patch of shallow sunlit water, and it wants for nothing more. A little Pukumuku resting in perfect contentment in its favorite warm tide pool, wanting nothing more from all of life than simply to lie there in the gentle shallows, is a wonderfully simple and peaceful image. 114. Minea we have met, the shooting star Pokémon, but its long journey down from the heavens is worth returning to. A Minea forms high up in the upper reaches of the atmosphere, patiently gathering dust and particles to itself, until a hard shell has grown heavy around its body, and then at last it falls, streaking down through the night sky as a bright and lovely shooting star. When its shell finally cracks and breaks away, the bright glowing core hidden within is revealed at last, shining in one of many soft and beautiful colors, a Minia drifting gently down through the deep night sky as a soft, slow shooting star. Its long journey from the distant heavens very nearly complete is a beautiful and wondrous image to quietly make a small wish upon. 115. Mimikyu is a shy, lonely little Pokémon that wears a homemade cloth disguise, and its whole story is far tenderer and gentler than it first appears. A Mimikyu, the old accounts say, carefully dresses itself up to look like a beloved and familiar Pokémon, because more than anything in the world it longs to be liked, and it does not ever want to frighten or trouble anyone. Beneath its little cloth costume, it is simply small and shy and lonely, hoping quietly and patiently for a friend to come along. All that its careful disguise really wants, in the end, is a bit of company and warmth, a lonely little Mimikyu in its handmade costume, hoping so quietly to be loved, at last finding a gentle friend who accepts it exactly as it is a touching and deeply gentle image. 116. Grookey is a small, lively monkey Pokémon that carries a special little stick with it always, and with that stick, it makes music by drumming the stick upon logs and stones and whatever else is near. A Grookey produces bright, lively rhythms, and the old accounts say that those rhythms make plants perk up and grow greener and stronger, so that the very air around a drumming Grookey seems to fill with new life. It is a cheerful, energetic, endlessly musical little creature, forever tapping out some happy tune. A Grookey happily drumming a lively, bouncing rhythm in a sunlit forest clearing, while the green plants all around it seem to sway and stretch and thrive to the beat, is a joyful and life-giving image. 117. Scorbunny is a small rabbit Pokémon, fairly bursting with warmth and boundless energy. It has special pads on the soles of its feet that heat up as it runs, and the more it dashes and plays about, the warmer its whole body becomes, until it is fairly glowing with cheerful, happy heat. A Scorbunny loves nothing more than to run and leap and play, warming up its inner fire by dashing tirelessly all about, and it grows restless and unhappy if it must sit still for too long. It is bright, active, and irrepressibly, infectiously cheerful. A Scorbunny bounding joyfully across a warm sunlit field, its little body glowing gently with the heat of its own happy running, brimming over with life and warmth, is a bright and heartening image. 118. Sobble is a small, shy, sensitive water lizard Pokémon that cries a very great deal, and its many tears carry a strange and rather remarkable property. When a Sobble weeps, the old accounts say, its tears release a scent into the air that makes everyone nearby suddenly want to cry as well, so that its feelings spread outward through a whole room like ripples across a pond. It is deeply sensitive and very easily overwhelmed by the world, and when it grows frightened or upset, it turns invisible in the water to hide itself safely away. But it forms the most tender and loyal of bonds once it finally feels safe and loved. A shy little Sobble, slowly coming to trust a patient and gentle friend, its endless tears finally drying, at last feeling safe enough to stop hiding away, is a tender and deeply touching image. 119. Wooloo we have met, the round and fluffy sheep Pokémon, but its wonderfully gentle nature bears returning to. A Wooloo is a calm, mild, peaceable creature, covered all over in a thick, soft, ever-growing coat of wool, which is prized far and wide for making the very warmest and softest of cloth. Wooloo like to stay close to those they trust, following them contentedly about, and when something frightens them, they simply tuck in their legs and roll away to safety, entirely unharmed. They are among the very most peaceful of all Pokémon. A whole flock of Wooloo grazing quietly and contentedly in a green rolling meadow, round and soft and utterly at peace, rolling gently through the grass in the warm afternoon sun, is a wonderfully cozy and pastoral image. 120. Yamper is a small corgi Pokémon that generates its own electricity simply by running about, thanks to a special organ in its body that produces a fresh charge whenever it moves and plays. And so a Yamper that has spent the whole day happily running and playing is fairly crackling all over with joyful stored energy by evening. It is a cheerful, loyal, and endlessly friendly little creature that loves nothing in the world more than to run alongside those it loves, tail wagging the whole way. A Yamper trotting happily beside its dearest friend on a long evening walk, its little tail wagging without pause, tiny sparks of pure joyful energy trailing softly along behind it, is a bright and affectionate image. 121. Milcery and Alchemy we have met, but the pure sweetness of a happy Alchemy is worth savoring once more. An Alchemy produces rich, sweet cream from its own soft body, and, most wonderfully of all, when it is happy and content and well cared for, the cream it makes grows richer and sweeter and more delicious still. It carefully decorates itself with bright berries arranged just so, like a small living cake, and the old accounts say that simply being near a contented Alchemy fills the whole air around it with a gentle, sweet, comforting aroma. An Alchemy swirled all over with fresh, sweet cream and topped neatly with bright, ripe berries, content and cared for and happy, quietly filling a warm kitchen with its sweet and gentle smell, is a cozy and delicious image. 122. Applin and its evolutions we have met, but Applin's snug little home is well worth returning to and dwelling upon. An Applin spends the whole early part of its life living quietly inside a single apple, carefully hollowing out a cozy little home within it, and hiding safely away from the world in there, so deeply and completely attached to its chosen apple that the two of them become very nearly one. It peeks out shyly now and then to look at the world before tucking itself right back inside its snug little nook, a little Applin curled up cozily and contentedly inside its apple home, safe and snug and warm, peeking out for just a moment at the wide world before settling happily back into its snug little nook, is one of the very coziest images imaginable. 123. Sinnoh we have met, the tiny sleeping ice worm of Galar, but its wonderfully cozy way of resting bears repeating once more. When a Sinnoh settles down to sleep, it spins out a fine thread of silk and hangs itself gently from a branch, dangling there snugly and safely as it dozes through the long cold. Wrapped up warm in its own fuzzy scarf-like coat, it feeds quietly on snow and ice, drawing the cold into itself. The old accounts say, most sweetly of all, that a Sinnoh which sleeps soundly and happily beside one it has come to love on a peaceful and gentle night will wake and grow into a lovely frostmoth. A little Sinnoh hanging fast asleep on its silk thread in the softly, silently falling snow is wonderfully and perfectly cozy. 124. Indeedee is a gentle, attentive, quietly devoted Pokémon that is deeply and finely attuned to the feelings of everyone around it. It senses the emotions of those nearby with great sensitivity, and the old accounts say that it is especially and tenderly devoted to caring for people, often sensing exactly what someone needs before they have even thought to ask for it. Indeedee are said to make the most wonderful of helpers, calm and considerate and endlessly thoughtful, and they are naturally drawn to happy, loving homes. And Indeedee moving quietly and gracefully through a warm household in the evening, gently sensing each person's mood, softly helping here and comforting there, watching over the whole family with quiet and unwavering devotion, is a caring and heartwarming image. 125. Wooloo aside, Dubwool is the grown sheep Pokémon of Galar, and it is wrapped in a coat so magnificent, so thick and springy, that the old accounts say it is as soft and as bouncy as the finest of cushions. That resilient fleece is said to be so wonderfully springy that it can cushion even a hard fall, and people have long and dearly prized it for making the very softest of bedding and the coziest of rugs to lie upon. A double is calm, proud, and thoroughly gentle. A double resting peacefully in a green field, wrapped up in its own magnificent springy fleece, so irresistibly soft that smaller Pokémon come from all around simply to nestle against it and doze the afternoon away, is a supremely cozy and comforting image. One last soft pause now, before we come to the end of our counting. We have wandered together through a great many small wonders tonight, and now we turn, gently and slowly, toward the last of them, the quiet old legends of the world. There is nothing at all to fear in them tonight. They are only more soft lights, drifting gently past in the warm dark, no different from all the rest. Let your eyes stay closed, let your breathing stay slow and deep and easy, let your whole body stay heavy and soft and still, and let us drift, together and unhurried, all the way toward the last few wonders of our long and gentle night. 126. Lugia we have met, the great guardian of the seas, but the deep gentleness of its long solitude bears returning to. Lugia dwells at the very bottom of the deepest ocean trenches in all the world, far, far from everything, and it stays down there in the quiet dark entirely by its own choice. Its power is so immense that a single beat of its vast wings could stir up terrible storms across the surface, and so, out of quiet care and love for the world above, it keeps itself perfectly still in the peaceful deep. A mighty creature choosing stillness and solitude for the sole sake of protecting others, resting far below in the dark and gentle deep, asking nothing and troubling no one, is a quietly moving image of gentle restraint. 127. Ho-Oh we have met, but its lovely rainbow blessing is well worth returning to. Ho-Oh soars high above the clouds, on wings that shine in 7 shifting colors, and the old accounts say that a bright rainbow trails softly behind it wherever it passes across the sky. It is said too that those rare and fortunate few who ever glimpse a Ho-Oh are promised happiness in their lives, and so a single distant sighting of it, uncommon as such a thing is treasured ever after as a great and gentle blessing. A Ho-Oh crossing a clearing evening sky far, far overhead, scattering soft rainbow light behind it as it goes, offering a quiet blessing to any lucky soul who happens to look up at just the right moment, is a radiant and deeply hopeful image. 128. Celebi we have met, the gentle guardian of the forest, but its quiet gift to the woods bears returning to. Celebi drifts freely through time itself, and wherever and whenever it happens to appear, the old accounts say the whole forest around it grows suddenly green and lush and brimming with new life, with flowers blooming softly in its wake. Its coming is taken everywhere as a sure and welcome sign of a bright, healthy, and hopeful future to come. A Celebi passing softly and silently through an ancient forest, leaving fresh green growth and new blossoms wherever its small feet touch down. A tiny guardian tending the woods across all the long ages of time is a hopeful and tender image to rest upon. 129. Latios and Latios we have met, the gentle empathic twin dragons, but their deep kindness bears returning to once more. These two graceful creatures can sense the feelings of everyone around them and can even understand the speech of people. And they are shy and kind and peaceable by nature, carefully avoiding all conflict and bending the very light around themselves to slip out of sight. They watch over the world quietly, tenderly, from just beyond the edge of what anyone can see, a pair of them gliding silently and invisibly through the soft evening sky, gently sensing the hearts of all the people in the sleeping towns below, watching over the whole quiet world with gentle understanding and asking absolutely nothing in return, is a tender and watchful image. 130. Jirachi we have met, the little wish granter, but its long and peaceful sleep bears returning to. Jirachi sleeps for 1,000 long years at a time, wrapped safe within a hard crystal cocoon, and it wakes for only 7 short days, during which the old accounts say it grants the true and heartfelt wishes written upon the little tags it carries. Then, Its brief waking done, it folds itself away and sleeps once more for another 1,000 quiet years. A small star-shaped creature, dreaming peacefully through the long centuries, waking now and then, only to grant a few gentle wishes before returning to its endless rest, is a peaceful and wondrous image. Your own quiet night's sleep is a small and gentle echo of its vast and patient one. 131. Cresselia we have met, and there could be no better companion for a night such as this one. Cresselia is the graceful being of the crescent moon, gliding silently through the deep night sky and trailing behind it a soft ring of curved and glowing light. It is bound closely to good and gentle dreams, and the old accounts say that its softly glowing feathers can soothe even a deeply troubled sleeper and turn the darkest of bad dreams gently back into pleasant ones. To have a Cresselia pass quietly overhead as you sleep is said to bring the most restful and peaceful of all nights. A Cresselia drifting gently across the dark sky above your sleeping home right now, quietly scattering peaceful dreams down upon it, is the very loveliest of images to drift toward. 132. Manaphy we have met, born in the cold sea, but its warm and wonderful gift bears returning to. A Manaphy carries within it the remarkable power to bond the very hearts of those around it, quietly drawing creatures together into friendship and warmth wherever it goes. Though it begins its small life in cold and lonely waters, its whole gift is one of closeness and connection, tenderly weaving warm bonds between every creature it happens to meet along its way. A tiny blue Manaphy drifting gently through the wide sea, quietly and patiently knitting new friendships wherever it travels, softening the coldest and loneliest of hearts and drawing solitary creatures gently and kindly together, is a warm and deeply heartening image of connection. 133. Shaymin we have met, the gratitude Pokémon, but its lovely blessing bears returning to. A Shaymin can make flowers bloom and can quietly dissolve the toxins in the air, cleaning and healing whatever land it rests upon. The old accounts say, most beautifully of all, that when many Shaymin gather together and take flight all at once, they leave whole fields bursting suddenly into glorious bloom behind them, a spreading wave of flowers offered up freely to the world as a simple gift of thanks, a whole flock of Shaymin rising together into a soft spring sky, and a wide green meadow blooming all at once into every color beneath them as a pure and joyful gift of gratitude, is a joyful and beautiful image. 134. Victini we have met, the victory Pokémon, but its warmth and good fortune bear returning to. Victini is said to share limitless, boundless energy with those it touches, quietly filling them with warmth and renewed strength, and its very presence is said to bring good fortune and happy endings to all around it. It is a small, cheerful, generous bringer of bright beginnings and good luck, a little Victini glowing softly and warmly, quietly and freely sharing its endless gentle energy with tired and weary friends, filling a whole room with warmth and quiet good luck simply by choosing to be there among them, is a hopeful and heartening image to carry gently towards sleep. 135. Meloetta we have met, but its beautiful and moving song bears returning to. A Meloetta's melodies are said to hold the gentle power to move the hearts and stir the feelings of all who hear them, calling forth joy or calm or a sweet and gentle sorrow, just as the Meloetta wills. Its voice is described in the old accounts as lovely beyond all words, and long, long ago, whole crowds of people were said to be moved to tears and to smiles alike by a single Meloetta's song drifting through the evening. A Meloetta singing softly to itself in some quiet, moonlit, hidden place, its gentle and lovely melody drifting out unheard into the night and softly soothing the hearts of any who happen to catch it on the air, is a beautiful and calming image. 136. Reshiram and Zekrom, the two great dragons of the Unova region, carry a thoughtful and gentle meaning worth knowing well. Reshiram, wreathed all in white fire, is said to embody truth, the world seen plainly and clearly, just as it truly is. Zekrom, crowned in crackling black lightning, is said to embody ideals, the world imagined as it one day could and should become. Neither one is greater or lesser than the other, and the old legends tell that the two of them were once a single whole dragon, split apart long ago by two brothers who each held fast to one belief. Two great beings, each carrying half of a single greater whole, forever bound together by what once made them one, is a thoughtful and gentle image to rest upon. 137. Xerneas we have met, the radiant Pokémon of life, but its long, patient rest bears returning to. When its great horns shine brilliantly in 7 colors, Xerneas is said to be sharing the very gift of eternal life with all the world around it, and when at last its own long, long life draws quietly toward its close, it folds itself gently into the form of a great tree and sleeps there peacefully for a full 1,000 years before waking once more, renewed, a radiant and ancient creature of life, resting as a great sleeping tree through the long, quiet centuries, patiently waiting through all that time to wake and give life freely to the world once again, is a wondrous and deeply peaceful image of rest and renewal. 138. Diancie we have met, the lovely jewel Pokémon, but its wondrous gift bears returning to. By gently pressing the carbon in the air between its 2 small hands, a Diancie can create sparkling, flawless diamonds in an instant, conjuring precious gems seemingly out of nothing at all. Its own crystalline body glitters and shines like a living jewel, forever catching the light and scattering it about in tiny rainbows. It is rare, radiant, and wonderfully gentle in its nature, a Diancie quietly forming one small, perfect, sparkling diamond between its hands, its delicate pink crystal body shining softly in a stray beam of light, creating quiet beauty out of the very air around it, is a wondrous and lovely image. 139. Rayquaza we have met, the great serpent of the sky, but its high and lonely role bears returning to. Rayquaza lives far up in the thin, cold air high above the clouds, flying endlessly and tirelessly through the very uppermost reaches of the heavens, far above all the world's weather and worry. The old accounts say that long ago, when the great powers of the sea and the land fell into terrible conflict, it was Rayquaza that descended at last from its home in the sky to calm them both and restore the broken peace. It is, above all, a quiet peacemaker of the heights, a Rayquaza drifting slowly through the deep and starry upper sky, keeping its long, patient, solitary watch over the peace of the whole sleeping world far below, is a majestic and calming image. 140. Suicune we have met, the embodiment of the pure north wind, but its gift of purity bears returning too. Suicune runs across the land with the wind itself, swift and graceful, and wherever it goes, the old accounts say, it purifies water, cleansing troubled, dirtied and spoiled waters, and making them clear and clean and fresh once more with its passing. It travels the whole wide world tirelessly, seeking out fouled and neglected water in order to heal it, a gentle and graceful bringer of clean water to every place that needs it. A Suicune racing gracefully and silently across a still moonlit lake, leaving pure and sparkling clean water shimmering in its wake, quietly healing the waters of the world as it runs on through the night, is a beautiful and calming image. 141. Regigigas we have met, and its vast ancient rest bears returning too. The old stories tell that Regigigas, in the earliest days of the young world, moved the very continents themselves into their places, patiently towing the great land masses across the whole world to arrange them just so. Its enormous and impossible work at last finished and complete, it lay down to sleep, and it rests now, deep in a quiet and hidden place, dreaming whatever slow and mountainous dreams such a colossal being dreams. A vast and ancient creature that once, long ago, arranged the very continents of the world, now sleeping deeply and peacefully after its ancient labor. Resting on and on in the quiet dark of its long and well-earned rest, is a grand and deeply restful image. 142. Uxie, Mesprit and Azelf we have met, the 3 sleeping lake guardians, and their gentle gifts to the world bear returning to. Uxie gave the world the gift of knowledge, Mesprit gave it the gift of emotion, and Azelf gave it the gift of willpower. And then, their giving done, the three of them parted and went to sleep beneath three separate still lakes, each one quietly watching over the gift it had given. Three gentle guardians resting deep beneath the calm, dark water, keeping forever safe the knowledge, the feeling, and the will that together make up every heart and mind in the world, is a peaceful and reassuring thought. And tonight, you may set all three of those gifts gently down for a while and simply rest. 143. Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion are three noble guardian Pokémon, and the old story they share is a gentle and a moving one. Long ago, the accounts say, when a great and terrible human war raged across the land, these three took it upon themselves to shelter the frightened Pokémon, fleeing the fighting, protecting them from harm, and leading them all safely away to a hidden green refuge far from the flames and the fear. They placed themselves without hesitation between the innocent and all danger. Three brave and steadfast guardians, shielding the frightened and the weak and the helpless, and guiding them gently and safely to a quiet green refuge far, far from all conflict and harm, is a noble and reassuring image to rest upon tonight. 144. Keldeo is one of the tenderest of all the great beings of the world. Keldeo is young, as the legends reckon such things, and it is colored a clear and gentle blue, like clear running water. And the old accounts say that it trained faithfully under the three noble guardians, striving hard to become worthy one day to stand as an equal among them. It had first to go out and find its own true courage in the wide and difficult world before it could return to them, grown and sure. A young legend, still learning what it means to be brave, running lightly and freely across the surface of the water as it slowly grows into its own quiet strength and its own good name, is a hopeful and gentle image. Even the very greatest of beings, it reminds us, must begin somewhere small. 145. Solgaleo we have met, the great creature of the sun, but its warm radiance bears returning to. Solgaleo's whole body shines with a brilliant and steady light, and the old accounts call it a herald of the sun, able to drive back the deepest darkness simply with the strength of its glow. Even when it is resting quietly, a Solgaleo is said to give off a warm and gentle radiance all around it, soft and comforting as the first sunlight of a clear and quiet morning. A great and noble creature of pure sunlight resting calmly in the dark, its warm light spilling softly and gently across everything nearby, chasing away every last shadow and worry simply by choosing to be there, is a radiant and comforting image of warmth. 146. Lunala we have met, the great creature of the moon, but its deep calm bears returning to. Lunala spreads wide its great wings, edged all around with soft and shifting light, and it draws in the pale glow of the moon and all the stars, the very living spirit of a peaceful and quiet night. Where Solgaleo is the warm and blazing sun, Lunala is the deep and gentle calm of the dark. A Lunala gliding silently and serenely through the deep night sky, its great crescent wings quietly gathering in the soft starlight as it passes, moving through the dark like the very gentle soul of the night itself, drifting slowly over the whole sleeping world below, is a serene and dreamlike image to drift toward. 147. Cosmog we have met, the tiny nebula Pokémon, and its wonderful softness bears returning to. Cosmog is a small wispy little creature that seems to be made all of gas and drifting starlight, so light and so delicate that it floats away upon the very faintest of breezes. The old stories tenderly call it a child of the stars, and within this small soft cloud-like wisp there sleeps, folded quietly away, the vast and radiant promise of the sun and the moon themselves, waiting patiently to unfold. A little gathering of drifting stardust floating quietly and gently through the world, soft and delicate and small, holding vast and radiant futures folded up and sleeping deep inside it, is a tender and wondrous image of the smallest of beginnings. 148. Zeraora is a swift, cat-like electric Pokémon, and there is a real and quiet grace to it beneath all its speed. It moves with truly astonishing swiftness, generating electricity through the very pads of its paws as it runs, and the old accounts say it can, for short and dazzling bursts, run faster even than a bolt of lightning. Yet for all that speed and power, it is described as a proud and solitary creature that keeps to remote and empty places, harming no one at all, wanting only to run wild and free beneath the open sky. A Zeraora dashing entirely alone across a wild and empty land at dusk, swift and silent as a bolt of pure light, proud and free and untroubled by anything in the world, is a graceful and quietly powerful image. 149. Melton is a tiny, curious little Pokémon made all of liquid metal, with a small round nut-like body and a single bright, wide, inquisitive eye. It is drawn irresistibly to metal, which it absorbs and lives upon, and it is playful and endlessly curious, wobbling busily about on its little liquid metal legs to investigate every small thing in the world around it. The old accounts say that many Melton will sometimes gather together, and that in rare cases a whole crowd of them may join into one single greater being. A little Melton wobbling curiously and cheerfully along, its one bright eye shining with pure interest, exploring the whole wide world around it with harmless, happy, tireless curiosity, is an endearing and gently comic image to hold near the end of our night. 150. And so we come at last to the very final one of our small wonders, and it is the gentlest of them all. All across the world, in every single region we have wandered through together tonight, as the sun sinks low and the sky at last grows dark, all the countless Pokémon settle in to rest. The proud little Piplup and the sleepy round Rowlet, the cozy Applin tucked deep in its apple, and the fluffy Wooloo soft in its meadow, the tiny Cosmog drifting quietly among the far stars, and the great Lugia resting far below in the peaceful deep. Every last one of them, from the very smallest to the very greatest, grows drowsy as the night deepens and closes its eyes and drifts gently off to sleep, just exactly as you are drifting off right now, safe and warm, into the very same gentle night. Let us rest now, all the way, before we say the very last number aloud. There is almost nothing left to do. The counting is very nearly done, and you have carried none of it at all, which is precisely as it should be. So let the whole long, gentle night soften now into a single warm and shapeless feeling. Let the little wonders drift and blur together in the dark. Somewhere, a small Chikorita is asleep with its leaf softly furled, still faintly sweet upon the night air. A Cyndaquil is curled up small, with its back flames burning low and gentle. A little round Rowlet has tucked its head down deep into its feathers and dozed off right there on its branch, round as a small feathered ball. An Applin is snug and content inside its apple. A whole flock of Wooloo lies soft and round in a dark and quiet meadow, and a Dubwool nearby is so wonderfully cushioned that smaller Pokémon have come to nestle against its fleece and sleep. A little Snom hangs fast asleep on its silk thread in the softly falling snow. A Commola dreams on and on, as it always does, clinging to its worn little log. A Munchlax naps deeply, warm and full and content. A Cotone sleeps snug in a soft pile of its own gathered cotton, like a small cloud come down to rest in the grass. A Slugma glows quietly in a country hearth, keeping a whole house warm through the cold night. And a gentle Cresselia drifts somewhere high overhead, trailing its soft curved light, quietly scattering peaceful dreams down upon the whole sleeping world below. And far, far below the surface of the sea, in the deepest and most perfect quiet, the great Lugia is resting, keeping itself still and gentle so that the whole world above can rest easy too. And high, high among the far stars, a tiny Cosmog is drifting, holding the sun and the moon themselves folded softly up inside it, dreaming its small and radiant dreams. All of them are sleeping now, every last one, the smallest and the greatest alike, in their meadows and their burrows and their quiet, deep, faraway places. All of them lie beneath the very same wide and gentle night as you. You do not have to hold on to any of it. You do not have to count a single number more. The whole soft world is settling down quietly all around you now, and it holds you the very same way it holds every one of them. Let your breathing slow and deepen. Let the little wonders dim now, one by gentle one, like small warm lights going softly out along a darkening shore. There is nothing left to do tonight at all but drift. That is 150. Our counting is done. There is nothing more to hold on to now, and nothing left to do but rest. So let the little wonders fade softly and completely away, like small lights going out one by one along a quiet shore. And let the deep and gentle quiet settle over you like a warm blanket. All the world's creatures are sleeping now, the smallest and the greatest, and you can sleep too, safe and warm among them. Rest easy, sleep well, and we will count more small wonders together, gently, the next time the night grows quiet.